Welcome to the Kenneth L. Johnson Show live on WPPM LP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. I'm your host, Kenneth L. Johnson, the world's #1 diversity recruiter. I haven't said that in a minute. It actually sounds really good. Philly, what's good? We are out here really surviving. You know it's crazy when people think that it's warm because we got the 30 degrees, but we're not alone. It's my understanding that's happening pretty much over most of the country. So with that being said, we gotta lock in and do what we gotta do, Philly. All right. Philly, we gotta have a conversation. You know, this is the home for career, culture, and community. It's the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. You belong here. But I will tell you apparently where we don't belong. Today, when I got off the train here in Philadelphia, came into 30th Street, got on the L, got off 5th and Market. And it was my first time that I've been here since they removed the, I guess the monument, the exhibit to acknowledge that there were indeed African people here when the country was founded 250 years ago. It's Black History Month, so I'm in my bag right now. You got to understand where I'm going. But when I saw that was no longer there, it produced an emotion for me. And it produced an emotion for a couple different reasons. I want to be completely honest with you. I want to go back and kind of tell you a little bit about who I am as a person. So I'm not originally from Philadelphia. I'm originally from a town in southwestern Pennsylvania called Uniontown, Pennsylvania. It's a great place for so many different reasons. I was born, both of my parents worked. I stayed with my grandmother. My grandmother stayed in a place, the name of the development where she lived was called Tuskegee Terrace. So as a kid, I was raised up until maybe, I started school in a place called Tuskegee Terrace. So there were a lot of different reasons that was an important thing for us because it let us know the history of the Tuskegee Institute, which is currently now Tuskegee University in Alabama. My aunt who lived behind her lived on Booker Way, Booker T. Washington. That's where that came from. And then when I finally left my grandmother's to go home at night, we drove past what we call Baker's Alley. It is part of the Underground Railroad, the passage, south to north. My uncle and aunt lived on Baker's Alley. Shout out to my cousin James. So it meant something to us. We talked about it. We lived that experience, and I had a lot of that history around me. So it falls on a lot of emotions when I got here and saw that history, our history, American history, isn't here, and that's concerning. And it's not about the city of Philadelphia. That's a national park. If you've been to Philly, that exhibit sits in front of the Liberty Bell, which is in front of Independence Hall, and there will be a lot of people here this year in Philadelphia 2026 for the 250th anniversary of this country. And I think there are some people that didn't want people to see that history, but that doesn't mean it didn't exist. So I know there's some really good people here in Philly working on correcting that, but man, that was a wake-up call on February 2nd, Black History Month 2026. All right, I'm off my bag. Philly, what's good? You know, this is what I do. I do this each and every Monday at 2 p.m. live on WPPM 106.5 Philadelphia. I love the work we do because I get the opportunity to meet and have conversations with some amazing people. So today I have a person that I'm going to bring to the stage shortly, but the gentleman, I met him in Dallas. I was there for an event. Shout out to Maximilian for having me host a fireside chat at that event. And I met this brother, and something about him stayed on my mind. So we stayed connected. That's the beauty of LinkedIn and social media and just being intentional in the things you do. We were able to stay connected. And I don't know, what's that? 2 years later, we're here today because He is a nationally recognized leadership strategist, speaker, author, and the founder of Undisputed LLC. This gentleman's work centers on values-based leadership, resilience, and organizational culture, helping people and institutions lead with clarity, conviction, and real impact. The gentleman I'm talking about's name is Bledsoe, and I'm going to bring him to the stage so he can tell you a little bit about himself. Todd, what's good, man? Talk to my audience.
Hey, what's going on, Kenneth? How you doing?
Man, I'm amazing today. I don't know if you heard the beginning segment. I kind of was in my feelings a little today.
Yes.
But that all motivates me. That's kind of how I got here doing this work, the work I do, impactful work around diversity, equity, and inclusion, and amplifying voices. So that work combined with my background and where I came from, shout out to everybody in East End, kind of had me in my feelings today about what I saw. So I don't want to focus in on that anymore. I want to focus on you and the work you're doing. Man, listen, you've been leading global talent strategies in Amazon, impacting employees in more than 100 countries.
Yes,
man. Chief diversity officer roles, senior leadership roles through AT&T. You are getting the work done, brother. I appreciate you, man, for coming through. But we want to talk about Undisputed as well. But I want you to tell.
You have me on here, brother. I'm fired up.
This is what I do. So yeah, had to have you on. So look, tell the audience a little bit about yourself. I know I missed some things.
Listen, Ken, the first one I wanted is a shout out to everybody out there across Philly, across the United States, everyone around the world. I want to thank this brother, right? Remember this, y'all. Relationships matter. And relationships produce results. I've met this brother, this executive. We were both on a leadership panel about maybe almost 2 years ago out here in the DFW region. We connected, we vibed, and then we just been in conversation, right? And so it lets you know if you, how do we say it? See, I'm from a place called Oakland, California, right? And we have
I didn't know you were from Oakland.
Yeah, born and raised.
Shout out to everybody in the Bay, man.
Shout out to my people in Oakland and Richmond, California.
Yes.
Shout out to the Bay.
I got, yeah, there's, wow. Okay. That means something for some reasons for me. I love it.
Look it. Go out there and create relationships with people, identify people that you have something in common with, and go and add value, right? We're going to talk about strategies in a moment, Kendall. I'm just letting you know, right, that there's all kind of reasons why we could not have worked together, right? We could say, oh, man, we could have been crabs in the same barrel, pulling each other down. Like, no. How can I add value to what you're doing? Right. And there may be a way in which, right, you may be able to add value to what I'm doing. And so go out there and create those relationships. But a little bit about me, right? For those of you who may not be familiar with me, what I end up doing, I go out there and identify what is your problem. And I go solve that problem. And I build solutions that we can scale at the regional, at the national, at the local, at the global level. And then we do it better than anybody else in the world. Right. I've had the pleasure of leading that Fortune 2 being Amazon, the pleasure of leading at Fortune 10 at AT&T, the pleasure of leading in a startup environments, one being Alto Pharmacy. But as we say, Kenneth, I have had the pleasure of being a triple threat or a tri-sector leader at the public, nonprofit, and at the private sector in senior leadership roles. The key thing is what I've been doing now with Undisputed LLC is working with executives and working with emerging to established leaders to find ways to really deliver solutions at scale at the intersection of leadership development, culture, faith, social responsibility, and challenging those leaders to move beyond titles and into the level of influence that we need across our communities, not just here in the United States, but around the world.
Man, I love that. And the work you've been doing, it's been so impactful. I just see, oftentimes when I move around, especially in these social spaces, and I see how people react when people post things. And I saw how excited people were that you were going to be on the show and everything. And it told me a little bit about you and the way your servant leadership works. Of course, I've seen you at work, at a conference, seeing you kind of doing your thing. And when we stayed connected, you had told me that you were working on a huge project. And I see you're branded through with the shirt and everything, man. We got to talk about your book. It's titled Undisputed. In one sentence, if you don't mind, man, what does it mean to live undisputed?
Listen, what it means to live undisputed, it's about operating from unbreakable identity when the world tries to break you.
Tell me a little
Unbreakable
more.
identity. Listen,
Let's
think about
dive.
this.
Let's dive.
Listen, I grew up in a place called Oakland. Born in Oakland, raised in Richmond, California. For those of you who don't know the East Bay, right? Richmond, California. Shout out to my folks out in the East Bay. Shout out to the Yay area and everything and such forth, right? And listen, I want to say, as a 49er fan, I got love for Philly. We got love for y'all, right? Y'all a great football team, right?
Listen, I was going to say, where we headed here? Where we really headed here? Because I think we had to deal with them last year.
Yeah, we played a couple weeks ago, right? Listen, it worked out for us this last time.
Yeah.
But you have a super unique team, and y'all always going to be competing, right? So look, we were blessed and lucky to get by Philadelphia.
Ty, hold on, man.
What's up?
I'm not sure that was a compliment. I'm not sure that
it's listen.
I'm not sure.
We're not expected to win. Listen, but it's about matchups, right, Kenneth? It's about matchups.
Yeah.
Y'all had all the best matchups. It just for some reason worked out on that Sunday, right? That we were able to get by and win that game. But y'all are a powerful team. And look at if y'all were in the Super Bowl, I'll be rooting for you right now.
Congratulations.
I just say that. Let me be quiet. I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose support from people in Seattle and in New England. But I tune in if it was a Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl game.
If I knew you was I should have wore some Eagles merch today. That's what I should have done. All right, look, we're gonna dive off of this talk. We'll talk about that in a more personal setting the next time I'm in your area. But look, I want to talk about leadership, man.
Yes,
yes. I know your book. I know you lean on the things that make you Ty Bledsoe, and leadership's a big part of that. What's the biggest leadership mistake you see well-intentioned people making today?
Listen, let's just be candid, right? People and leaders who lead from a position instead of influence, right? They're focused on title. The biggest mistake that I'm seeing people make in the global enterprises, in the startup world, even in the nonprofit government sector, is that they feel that their leadership is bestowed to them by some birthright because of their title. No. You know when leadership begins? Leadership begins when people have confidence and trust you. And when people trust you to trust and follow you, that's when you're a leader. You can't wait for no institution to give you the birthright, an institution to validate you. I learned that early in my career when I was elected student body president at the University of California, Davis. I was the Barack Obama. I'm still the Barack Obama of UC Davis, right? And with all that being said, if I waited to be sworn in as student body president, I was the first Black president elected in 52 years of university history. But with all that being said, I'm the first Black president in a lifetime. If I waited to be elected, sworn in, and confirmed, and then say, okay, now I'm going to lead 20,000 people. I have 1,600 employees reporting to me. I have 30 directors reporting to me. And then I'm managing a $9 million budget at 22 years old. If I waited for all that, I would have never been elected president. When people started to trust me years before with their dreams, with their challenges, with their aspirations, and I started building coalitions of people from all walks of life, that's when I became a leader. So when I ran for the presidency, it was just a confirmation of we're going to show that we build diverse coalitions. We've shown that we have built authentic relationships and trust. And I call that art. And once I went and practiced that and developed those not just theories, but practice it and proved it at the university level, and then that allowed me to scale that across the University of California and do work with the governor of California, Gray Davis, and work with mayors and state elected officials as a student body president. Oh my gosh. Listen, that was like going from a spark to a match to a flame to give me an inferno of confidence and letting me know this is how we're going to go out here and do it. So leaders who are focused on title, they think that's their position of influence. It's not about that. It's about going out and say, how can I focus on being significant? And if you can go out there and solve people's problems and add value, that is what allows you to be a real leader. Because I just tell you this right now, it doesn't matter if you're the president of the United States. It doesn't matter if you're a governor of a state. It doesn't matter if you're so-called CEO of a billion-dollar company. If you're not solving problems, you're not a leader. Come on now.
We're solving problems here on the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. Ty Bledsoe, hit us up, 646-600-8510, 646-600-8510. Kenneth L. Johnson, Ty Bledsoe, keep going.
Hey, so that's one of the biggest issues. It is probably the biggest issue. And here's a great example. So I've had the pleasure of leading at Amazon and AT&T. These are both Fortune 10, Fortune 2 companies. The big difference between, what's the difference between being in a nonprofit organization or a mid-sized company or a Russell 2000 company versus a Fortune 10? It's about building systems that you can scale. And that's one thing you learn really, really fast at Amazon. If you don't learn it, you're going to learn by a baptism by fire, or you might not be there more than a couple of weeks or a month or so. You have to build systems that you can scale, that you can repeat. You can't focus on being a hero. Being the Lone Ranger worked out if you were watching TVs like the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. You can't be a Lone Ranger hero if you're going to a startup organization or for a Fortune 1000. You have to understand how do you build a flywheel that delivers outstanding results for your customers, that you have a repeatable system that, listen, at some point, I'm going to have to hand off my project or my initiative to somebody else. And if you can build it the right way and it can be scaled, then you can go out there and impact thousands or hundreds of thousands of people. When I was at Amazon, one of these times, I was leading an initiative for the Worldwide Customer Service Organization. The purpose was to improve employee engagement, but also improve the culture of inclusion across 30 plus countries. I had about 6,000 employees that I was responsible to lead that. We went and delivered a dynamic strategic plan that was built out over a couple months. That system was so successful. We launched a newsletter that had training in there. We had a newsletter that had employee engagement in there. We had a click-through rate, Kenneth, of 65%. That click-through rate when that newsletter went out every month was higher than the director, who was my senior client. That director's click-through rate on her emails was only a 12 to 14% click-through rate by her organization. So we had that click-through rate. That click-through rate was so successful. We had a 100% adoption rate for the trainings that we would administer, right? For the other elements that we had to develop talent. It was so successful is that we said, okay, now we have a high rate of our newsletter. Now we need to give them more. We gave them the Fireside Chat series for the Worldwide Customer Service Organization. That allowed me to display my communication and my interpersonal skills. And I'm bringing on members of the United States Congress as my Fireside Chat guests. Eddie Bernice Johnson, God bless her soul, the former chair of the Space, Science, and Technology Committee in the United States Congress. We brought Eddie on as my guest. We brought on the C-suite executive, Tina McGalkey, who is a global D&I chief at PepsiCo. Brought Tina on as one of my guests. We brought the great Taboo, who is a member of the group, the Black Eyed Peas, a great friend of mine. We brought Taboo on as a guest. Those events were so successful. Amazon says, hold it. We know what talent wants. We have high engagement. At Amazon, when you find out what works, you got to double down on it. And you don't double down, you triple down on it. So that speaker series, instead of it being 4 for a year, it became every month. We had talent from the Philippines, from Germany, from India, from Costa Rica, from Canada, tapping into the speaker series, but also tapping into our broader leadership development initiatives, impacting thousands of employees and delivering millions of dollars of cost savings to the business. Once you can design systems that you can scale and repeat it, that's the difference between being at an Amazon or AT&T and a mid-size or a different organization.
Got it. Listen, man, love the work you've done in both places and across a lot of areas of the business, right? I think sometimes when people work in silos, well, I'm positive their impact is kind of stunned.
Yes.
But it sounds like you were able to scale, strategize, and get what you wanted to get accomplished at both of those stops. Speaking of getting things accomplished, Undisputed's out today, right?
Today's the launch day.
Listen,
I want y'all to understand, Undisputed. It's not a book.
Bring it closer. Bring it under you for all my people that are listening. Yeah, there we go. For all my people that are watching on LinkedIn, Undisputed is out today.
Undisputed. Grab Undisputed right now. You can go to TyBledsoe.com. You can go to Amazon and pick this up. Undisputed is not just a book. It's a blueprint forged in fire. And that fire is my lived experience. We talk about the experience of, look, every chapter, Kenneth, is a leadership lesson that I learned through the forge of fire, not just at UC Davis, but also in Fresno and Richmond, California, growing up, but also leading in the nonprofit in the private sector space. Undisputed is more than a book. It's a gripping memoir that talks about you can come from ordinary backgrounds. Just like me, I was raised by a single mom, raised by a single mother, had a gun put to my head. And I don't want to give you too much, but gun put to my head at 14 years old. I was in the wrong place, wrong time. Gangbanger put a gun to my head because I threw a rock at his grandmother's door in the hood. I shouldn't have been cutting class that day. I should be dead. I should be dead, brother. There's nothing besides the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ. I should be dead. But from that moment, I survived that moment. It changed my perspective about everything because I said, listen, what did Apollo Creed tell Rocky? There is no tomorrow. And I understood it real quickly. There would have been no tomorrows for me. So I focused on my purpose. I focused on ways in which I can serve people. I found ways in which I can grow through humility, and in which I can go from being selfish to being focused on others, right? So the book talks about all these lessons of learning from leaders like the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Yes, the Reverend Jesse Jackson is on the back cover of the book. That's me at the University of California, Davis, with one of my mentors and heroes growing up, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. My book, thank God, is written by the late Reverend C.T. Vivian. And for those of you who don't know Reverend C.T. Vivian, it's one of the great civil rights leaders that was a great friend and lieutenant with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But we talk about these lessons and talk about telling people, how can you go from being someone ordinary with extraordinary leadership capabilities that you can drive transformation in your community level, in your households, in your workplace, and you can scale it. If God can bless me, look at the Bible teaches that God is no favor of person, that God don't have no favorites. So if God can bless simple me from Richmond, California, all of us can be blessed. As Obama said, all boats can rise.
So Ty, for someone reading Undisputed and starting today, what's the first behavior change you want them to make?
You got to invest in yourself. You have to invest in yourself. If you don't invest in yourself, we got a big problem. Listen, how many hours do we have in a given week? 168. You got 168 hours every week. And I tell you this, what you practice is what you're going to be good at. If you practice being a hustler, you're going to be good at being a hustler. If you practice being a scammer, you're going to be good at a scammer. If you practice being a father and a committed husband, you're going to be a committed father, a loving father. And listen, your family going to love you when you come home, right? What you practice is what you get out, right? As it says, what you do in private, right, is what's going to be celebrated, what's going to be honored in public. So I would tell people, invest in yourself. Listen, P plus O equals M. When preparation meets opportunity, magic happens.
Yes.
Right? So you got to put that time into preparation. That's your education. That's getting your high school degree for those who are young. That's getting your bachelor degree. That's going out. If you can, go out there and get another Super Bowl ring. Go get a master's degree. Go get a law degree, right? Go out there and get that. Go out. If you don't have time for those degrees, go get you a certification. Put that time into yourself. Go get a certified Scrum Master certification. Go get a project manager certification. Go get an HR certification. Learn these tools. And oh, by the way, you got to learn AI. Because if you're not learning artificial intelligence, trust me, it's coming for all of us. It's coming for all of us. So if we don't leverage and use it, then you're not going to be able to be a greater resource and you won't have value. The first thing you got to do is invest in yourself. The second thing, you have to be able to serve other people. You cannot focus on what you can get out of it for yourself. You can say, hey, how can I be of service to you? I asked that question to a mentor, Kenneth, years ago at AT&T. And as SVP, I'm a young director, young executive in the company. And I asked SVP, what can I do to be of service to you? This SVP was floored. And I said, what's the issue? He goes, no one asked me that time. No one's ever asked me, what can they do for me? They're always asking me, what can I do for them?
Did he have an answer for you?
He still didn't come back. He says, just this time with you helps me understand the aspirations, the interests of rising talent. He goes, just having this window is a service to me. He never came back and said, hey, can you do this for me? But I still always had the invitation to say, how can I be of service to you? Just like when I was president at UC Davis, I started every meeting asking one question, Kenneth, how can I bless you? I was the first ever ordained clergy in the University of California, Davis, at UC Davis ever. So okay. I was rooted in faith. I was rooted in service. And for people to say, How can you bless me? I say, how can I bless you? I'm here to represent you, right? I'm putting 45, 50 hours a week into this and being a full-time student.
Sure.
If you tell me how I can bless you, then it lets me walk in my God-given purpose.
Amazing, man. Listen, before we close out here today, I got to ask a favor from you.
Yes, sir.
I need you not only to let our audience know how they can stay connected to you in your work, but I also need you to give them a call to action based solely on the work of Undisputed that they can really hang on to and move forward.
Kenneth, first of all, I want to thank you. It's been an honor and privilege, right, to spend time on this tremendous platform you have. I just want to let everyone know, if you're looking for a keynote speaker, hit up your boy. Come on, hit up your boy, right? Now my calendar is getting full. You can go to tybledsoe.com if you're looking for a keynote speaker, but also want to focus on leadership development. I would say for this audience, here's the deal. I want you to focus on identify someone that you admire their character. Look, talent is great, but I want you to be impressed with character, right? Because character always beats talent. Identify someone that you respect their character and you respect them, and find a way in which you can ask them and serve their goals. If you want somebody to help you achieve your goals, go help them first achieve theirs. Find a way in which you can add value. Someone may have a book launch. Somebody may have a radio broadcast. Somebody may be trying to raise funding. Somebody may have a board of director. We're open for a nonprofit. Find a way in which you can help them achieve their goal, and then you will add value. Don't ask for nothing in return. Just go serve people. Just put people first, not you first, others first. I talk about this in my book. When listen, I've had a lot of failures, but those failures allow me to learn fast. So just proceed and serve people, help people achieve their goals, and then focus on ways you can learn and grow. And if you go do that, I have so many stories in this memoir of Undisputed. You'll be propelled to whatever God has intended for you. And that's far more than whatever you came from.
I appreciate you, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Todd Bledsoe, thank you for stopping by the Kenneth L. Johnson Show, man. Congratulations on the release of Undisputed. Powerful and timely work. We appreciate you. All right, listen, to everyone listening, what did you get from that? He shared a lot of information, but what I'm seeing is that leadership really isn't a position. It's not about a position. It's about decisions. And the question is, how are you living, leading, and showing up in a way that's undisputed? Think about that. How are you personally living, leading, and showing up every day that you get out here and do the thing that you call life? If you get an opportunity, check out the book, apply the lessons, and lead with intention. Okay. This is the Kenneth L. Johnson Show, your place for career, community, and culture. If you want a little more of not this conversation, but a conversation about marketing yourself in professional spaces, Ty will be joining me on Wednesday at 12 p.m. on the Urban League Jobs Network Digital Career Success Series platform. Him and Denise Shines will be there from 12 to 1, chopping it up with me and kind of making history. It's Black History Month. That's what we're doing out here. Also, I'm working right now. Thursday, the National Urban League has a virtual career fair. I'm locked in. I know I'm doing a panel. I'm moderating a conversation for them. I think it's at 10:30, but you can lock into the nul.org.com website and get some more information about what's happening for Career Week. And also Thursday evening, Reclaiming the Future. It's a conversation about wellness. It's a conversation about career. It's a conversation about centering Black men. And with that being said, that's the way I'm kicking off Black History Month with Julia Rock of Rock Career Development. We put that thing together. It takes place in New York City, 38th Street, Thursday. You can check out the social media feeds. You can check out the LinkedIn profile to find more information about that. But we were live today on 106.5 FM WPPM Philadelphia, streaming globally and airing live on LinkedIn. I want to thank everybody that tuned in and hung out with us. Super producer Allison got this thing moving today. And it's what we do. It's the Kenneth L. Johnson Show, WPPM LP, Philadelphia.